Hey guys, it's Will with Just Add Water. I've got a Pondless Waterfall here behind me, and we're going to give you a step-by-step process on what we do as far as our clean out procedure. So step one, we got all of our equipment back here. Just kind of follow along, and you can see how we use all of it. Our first step is hooking up the pump into the vault and doing that inspection. So check out the other, we've done one video on our inspection process. We do the same type of thing for the pondlesses as well as the ponds. We're going to check liner edges, we're going to make sure everything's functioning, plumbing line, nothing's frozen, nothing's settled, all that kind of stuff. It's pondless is designed to be a little bit lower maintenance, so it's going to be a little bit less than the pond. We don't have to check as many boxes or components like that, but for the bulk of it, it's the same thing. I can already tell that the basin is chock full of water, so we know all of that's holding well. Now it's really just time to fire it up and start the process. All right, here's your standard kind of equipment situation for us to do a pondless waterfall clean out. Pretty close the same as the pond. Don't need as big of tubs. Some features we do use tubs with, but here we go. We have our garden hose, we have our power washer. We won't go any higher than 2000 psi. Don't want to be breaking anything. We've got our clean out pump, we've got our pump cleaner solution, our clean out hose, our sponsored backpacks. Here's the homeowner's pump. We're gonna fire that up. Step one is get it over there in the vault and then fire it up, test it. Once I confirm everything's functioning and doing my inspection, I'll pull it out and I'll put it in that pump with that clean out solution. This customer is actually going to sign up for a monthly maintenance package, so we're going to put an auto doser in there with a bag of clear in there, and then this is a little gift we do. This is prevent for fountains. Whoop. So that'll help with some scale buildup and anything else going on in the system. So this is kind of what I use. You can throw everything over your back and carry it all in one trip. Let's get started. All right, so we have our vault exposed, break back that gravel. First part of that inspection, your check valve assembly. Make sure it's clear. See if you get that flapping noise. That's important. So inside here, in this bell portion, there's a flapper here, so that water goes up, flapper opens, and then when you shut it off or something, it stays in here. What that does is that keeps your plumbing line and your box and everything full of water. If it's a pond, it's super duper important because it keeps, if anything were to happen, that check valve keeps water up in your biofall to make sure nothing's going to dry out and your beneficial bacteria and everything are good. For this application, it just keeps all that water in there, so then you're not gonna, when you plug it in, that water level is going to go down a significant amount because you have to fill everything up. It just takes a little bit of that water out of the equation because it's already in your system. So that's the first thing I do when I check the pump, and I plug it in. Fun bonus one. This is an awesome pondless we recently built. One of our main viewing angles is up here. So that's what that bonus over there for. That's why we went with a split. A couple of gorgeous rocks together, and that one's for across. And then this guy, pretty sure Connor swiped this from the front yard because that rock is just meant to have water on top. So one of the really important things about this inspection is I'm going to go ahead and set up all my equipment now. I'll get the other cleanout pump I'll get our cleanout pump all hooked up to the hose and everything like that. I'll get the power washer all assembled and everything. I want this whole thing to run for 5 to 10 minutes before I go start looking. You need to get everything filled up. You can tell we're not even to the bottom of the stream yet. We got a pooling area that needs to fill. I can go ahead and get the lights turned on. There's lots of stuff I can be doing while this is running. You know, if I go start checking stuff now, pump's not even, the water's not even recirculating all the way, so it's not gonna be a true test. So that's why it's really important for us to let it run and get started and functioning. That's why hooking up the pump is always step one. All right, there's one of our color changing lights, so I'll go ahead and test that. Real simple, we got 2 zones here, so we can actually have some of our lights be different colors than each other. So I'm just gonna push these buttons to turn them on because they've already been hooked up once. Should be updated and everything. So now I can double check and make sure our lights are functioning. Lights are going. That's one of the last things I'll do is make sure that everything's back online, and get the pumps and the lights all hooked up for them. That'll be, like I said, one of the last things that I do. So as I'm flushing and power washing everything, you know, inevitably I'm gonna bump them around. I'll make sure I readjust and re-angle them to the correct position.
She looks like. I'm trying to see how cloudy it is. There's some muck down in there, some
Rocks and stuff that have fallen. No frogs, so that's always a plus. So I like to hit it with the power washer, because if that like muck and everything that's down in there, you know, it's been sitting for a few months.
So now you can tell it's not clear water. I've broken it all up.
Now I'll get that pump off the power washer, wrap that up, and start flushing that. So the way we build these, this pump vault sits lower than the actual aqua box itself. So if I start flushing and rinsing over here, it's all gonna go back down in there. So that's the goal here. This is a pretty new pondless. I don't expect it to be super dirty, so it should be a fairly simple flush. But this is also why we recommend this clean out service, or even the fall service for a pondless. You know, you should be doing this annual cleaning at least once a year, just to make sure you don't have this clog up. Everyone builds them a little bit differently, and that's okay, but maintenance is the most important thing. So we've got the basin all empty. Now we're going to start that final flush down in here. You know, I'll go through, and as I'm flushing, I'll find pockets of leaves, kind of wrap that up, get that in there. Most important thing to do when you're flushing a basin is not just this. You know, if I wanted the rocks to get wet, I would just wait for it to continue to rain. But really get in there.
Now you can see that water's more of a
Tannish brownish color. We're gonna move a lot of gravel around. So the reason why this basin flush is so important is because, you know, it's all a recirculating system. So you want water to get down through your basin over to your pump as fast as possible. If we don't do this clean out, we let sediment build up, or we let the leaf load stay heavy up here, you know, water can actually just stay on top of everything and go over liner edges wherever, you know, your low spot in your basin is. Water's always going to take the path of least resistance. So if it can't get down, it's going to go out. Well, I can only go out so far until we have problems. So that's why this basin flush is so important. That's why the clean out is so important. That's why we do it. You can see here as I'm kicking stuff around. Yeah. This is the stuff that I want to get to before it gets down in there. It can break down. The gravel and the aqua blocks are essentially your pre-filter to your pump, so it works fantastically. But neglect is a problem. So you can tell power washing a pondless, you know, it's a lot of bird poop that you're power washing off. Because this one hasn't been running, there's not a whole lot of algae, you know, rocks stay fairly clean. I'm predominantly just trying to move dirt and, you know, make it look fresh. There's some mud and just kind of gunk on it. I'll hit the basin really good because, as we, you know, kind of saw in the beginning, there was a lot of standing water in there. Those leaves and stuff break down, that kind of stains the rocks a little bit. So I'm going to finish, you know, I flushed everything and pushed everything back down. That's always, you know, I just find it most efficient to push it all down, then I can pick it all up in one spot. So I'll pick everything up again now that it's been power washed and flushed, and then I'll power wash the basin as well, and then it's time to start filling up. In here, now I'm pumping the basin down. It's going out down into the yard. So once that's all done, you know, that's when I start flushing that basin really heavy. And then also, you know, the main thing with the pondless isn't flushing the basin or a fountain, anything on a basin in particular, is you just don't want it to fill up with sediment. So that's really what we're trying to flush out. You know, pond has the muck and sludge and all that stuff. I'm just trying to make sure your pump's not going to be sucking up a bunch of dirt and crud. Okay, so final steps. We're going to do a final walkthrough. We got the pump hooked up, water's filling. We've got a little bit of cord to that light that we got to show. We'll do a final kind of walk up and down her a few times. Grab a little bit of our random leaves that have blown in. I mean, there's zero chance I could have missed any. It has to be the wind. But lights, we're going to go in and we're going to angle them. We're going to double check our edges. You know, we got a little liner here, that kind of stuff. Hide it up, make it look pretty. This is a pretty common thing. You got to, you know, move some rocks so the lights are actually working. Got that. But looking pretty good, pretty smooth. You know, a little bit of time, a little bit of elbow grease. Got pump cord. The receiver hangs here on the post. We got this big beautiful fake rock. Everything's right over here. I've got that auto doser. Whoop! I'll put that so that can be over here in the whole pond equipment area. I'd love to tell you all about the auto doser, but I already did. Subscribe to our channel, and you posted a few weeks back. Behind me is the freshly cleaned Pondless Waterfall system. It took me a little over 2 hours. Pretty straightforward. We've got the pump and the lights all hooked back up to the app. I've got it changing colors now. Final step for me to do is call the homeowner, make sure there's nothing else I can take care of for him. Again, the main reason why we do this is to keep everything functioning properly. We love to get back and make sure you guys are, or you know, our customers are going to have the best season they can have, and the best way to do that is let us see it. So I did my inspection, I flushed it, I power washed it, I flushed it again, picked up debris on debris, a couple buckets worth of leaves. You know, the secret to that is I just try to keep always pushing them down to the bottom, so I've got one big spot of it. Otherwise, I'm just going to be chasing leaves all over the place. Beautiful spring, wintry mixed windy day, so they're blowing around. But it's a pretty straightforward process.